Good morning, beautiful, blessed family. It's almost afternoon. Oh my God. I laid in bed all morning hoping for the snow to stop, but I don't think it's going to stop for now. I think we're going to have a lot of snow to shovel. Anyway, good morning. Good morning. I wanted to touch base with you guys. Happy Sunday for those of you who are. I don't think churches are open today. I think everything's closed. I think this is an official snow day, except for restaurants and stuff that have to be open. But I wanted to update you on yesterday. So I did install the battery yesterday, and it was quite the adventure because it really is not hard to do. There's a lot of things on a car that's not difficult to do. And for whatever reason, it's a male-dominated field where it's kind of frowned upon that women could either have knowledge about what to do or can do things on their own. And like I said this before, I'm annoyed about it because it costs a lot. It's a lot of labor. Most of the cost to put things into a vehicle is labor. And if you can do it yourself, I don't see why I shouldn't. Now let me just touch on something. Yesterday I was talking about my a couple things. I talked about putting the battery in the car and how I'm going to get it done. And one of you had suggested that I go to Costco, and I did. And I thank you for that because the price was good, the quality is good, and it wasn't hard to install. The one thing I would say is it doesn't have a handle. The Kirkland battery doesn't have a handle, but I'm very definitely strong enough that it didn't matter. Anyway, when I was going through my comments, when I was I was trying to figure out how to use the tool because where the battery is and how to replace it, there's a screw that's really down low. And I sat in here until it got dark trying to figure out how to use this tool to get it out. And eventually I did, but by the time I did figure it out, it was dark. When I was going through my comments, I realized, thank you. I realized that someone had made a comment about my nails being done, and how I can afford to get my nails done, but I can't afford to get the car fixed. First of all, I never said I couldn't afford to get the car fixed. I just know what my money is like, and I'm going to do things according to what my money's like. I just found it very ignorant to make a statement that you have no idea what the details entail. The car's not even my car, it's my mother's car, and she's retired and she's older, so and I drive the car a lot, so my thinking is that I need to find a way to incorporate how to maintain the car. And so that's where the thinking back. I never ever said I couldn't afford to. I always do things by my means, and my nails are mine. These are my nails. These are just an overlay over my nails. So, and I did pin that comment under the video. Since you love to be the attention, I made sure that everyone's going to see your comment. Shalom, beautiful. Shalom. So I wish I'm not even going to bother. I'm just so done with seeing snow. The snow it's actually going this way. This is how much snow is going down. You can actually see it's going this way, which I think it's beautiful. It's much more beautiful when you're a child and you have no responsibilities, to be honest. If you have to drive through this, it's not fun. So eventually I'm going to have to go out there and shovel. My mom's husband already went out there and shoveled some. It's kind of good to kind of do it in increments. That way you're not overwhelmed with a whole bunch of snow to get rid of right away. But eventually we're going to have to get out there and clean off the cars and clean the driveway again. So thank you. So I wanted to touch base on the comment and just let you know that for the ladies out there who are thinking if you can, you know what, I don't have to explain, but I just felt you know what, when I first started doing the channel years ago, I was much younger, much more impressionable, and things I noticed about myself was, one, when I get upset or angry or excited, I speak quickly. So I had to learn to slow down. My brain works very fast. Two, I noticed that when people made a comment under my videos that I felt were like disrespectful or whatever, I would find a way to either delete it or find out if it was offensive. I would try to like find a way to deal with it. Anyway, I've come a long way, and I've because of who I am right now and who and how I see people. I like to highlight because I know myself. If you know yourself and you know you're a good person, you know you're wise. I'm good with my money. I'm wise with my money to a fault. I will sacrifice, I will fast if I have to make sure that things get done. And the situation that I'm in right now was not a situation I put myself in. It was a situation that I was put in, and I'm coming to understanding of it more and more every day. There's a lot of witchcraft in my family line, a lot of witchcraft in the people that are around me, and there's a lot of witchcraft in the people who that practice false religions. So I don't feel bad when people say something, and sometimes I address it, and sometimes I don't. But because yesterday the assumptions were made, and I feel like my life is full of people making assumptions about me, I just felt like I should address it and pin it, because even if I don't say something about what people assume about me, if I was to say something, that's kind of the way that I would say it, the way that I address the person. Like, I really don't have time for the foolishness. I honestly do not. And so I usually don't address it. It was short and sweet, but I appreciate you, Sherry. I appreciate what you're saying. I don't have to explain to anyone. And I guess from now on, I won't explain. I just ignore it. Because what I've been doing lately is leaving the comments and ignoring them, but I just felt in that moment because I had shared. I don't have to share everything I do, but with this particular thing, I wanted people to know, use this as an example as to how I had to navigate through life, how I've had to deal with, like, when I had the children by myself. No one can claim that they were there. I don't care who it is of the children's fathers. No one can say that they were there full time. I was led to figure things out, and I was put in a position to have to raise the girls and deal with the nurturing and the things that a man would do by myself. So this really just showed that. Anyways, I can't say I did it by myself, because God led me to every answer, because there was obstacles to overcome. To get that battery out, there was a screw that was really deep in there, and there's a filter in the engine, and because I've been cleaning that filter, I knew how to take the lid off, everything. Like, I mean, God led me to so many different things. I sat in here in the dark and I said, how am I going to get that screw out, until it got dark. Anyway, it's all done. The car's running fine. And then I had to Google, get this. Okay, so when someone boosts their car, you have to kind of let it run. And I didn't understand why. So when I put the new battery in, I was supposed to let it run for about 10 minutes, but I didn't. I was going to go get oil for the car. And the car started to act funny again. And I thought to myself, I know that I did something wrong. So I Googled it. I Googled everything. And it said, yes, you're supposed to let the car run. Let the battery kind of, I guess it needs to connect, almost like our own bodies, right? When you fast and you reintroduce food, your body has to realize you're introducing food again. Anyway, I sat there for a while, and on the side of the road again, and the car was fine. So now it's fine. So I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere except to shovel the driveway. I'm purging. There's a lot of things. I hate clutter, but because I feel myself, I'm isolated in this space. There's a lot of things in here. I feel it's a little bit much, and a lot of what I'm gonna give away isn't garbage. It's just I don't need it. You're entitled to groom yourself. I agree. So I'm gonna read this, Jerry. It says, you are entitled to groom yourself in the way you see best. It's not excessive. As we get older, we have to do what we have to do. I so agree. I so agree. And the thing is, though, you know what? When there's a point where I felt that the Lord was saying in the word that we should not do anything to ourselves, that we're just good the way we are. So I stopped doing a lot of things to myself. Like, the makeup thing, I agree. I'm not going to wear makeup. I do put on mascara sometimes, but I'm not wearing anything right now. But that was hard. It was hard to do that. Everything else, though, the nails, like me dressing a certain way, I don't think it's vain. I think the Lord says that our beauty, the scripture that talks about outward adorning and not focusing on that, it doesn't say we shouldn't dress well. It's our beauty does not come from our outward adorning. And I think I'm seeing a lot of women out there that are proving this because there's a lot of women out there that do the most. They do the most to their bodies, they do the most to their face makeup, hair. And when they open their mouth, even as a woman, to look at another woman, I just feel like I can't imagine why a man would find that attractive. I just can't. And I'm not saying that there's a beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So there's beauty for everybody. Everyone sees beauty differently, attracted to different things. But I know some women who are just the meanest, most selfish people I've ever met, and I can't imagine why a man would say, besides maybe being intimate, that could be the only thing. But you can't live your life just thinking that's all you're gonna do. There has to be more. And I find that intimacy is much more enjoyable when you're connecting on a deeper level than just like I see you, you see me. That's it. A dog can do that. Cats, animals do this. They don't. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, but I just thought like it's a great day to come on and do a live because I didn't do one last night. I find I'm better in the morning. I'm a morning person, and this snow is just a lot. It's a lot of snow. But I appreciate you, Cherry. I really do because I wish I would have seen these comments yesterday when I was ready to respond to this comment, because I would have said it would have just been much more reasonable and much more sensible to just ignore the comment, really. So anyway, I'm purging some stuff, and sometimes I feel like I want to give it to people. Like I have stuff in here there's nothing wrong with them. Like I have like storage bins, I have like containers and stuff that are when my daughters redid the room. I found containers that I actually like better, and I'm not insulting them because I think what they did was beautiful. It's just that I wanted something more simple. I'm really a simple person. I don't like a lot of, you know, a lot of, what can I say? I like my things simple. Good morning, Nikki. Good morning. So I'm trying to get rid of stuff. And maybe what I'm thinking now, part of my healing is to let things go. And so a part of my issues has been to holding on to things. Like I've lived a life of disappointments and lack. So as much as hard as I work, I always came across situations where I've had to go without, or to make a lot out of nothing. And so when I have something that I find that has value, or it's new and I don't have a need for it, I don't know what to do with it. It's kind of here. There's things here sitting here and I'm thinking like, am I ever going to wear this again? Am I ever going to use this again? Yes, I think less is more. When they first did this room, it was so clear and so beautiful. Like I came in here and I was like, okay, you guys can go. I'm good. I still am like in awe with the room. I still, I have a lot. I'm a type of person. I have a lot of blankets. I have a lot of sweaters. I like sweaters. I like blankets. I'm a cozy kind of person. But you can only have so many blankets before it becomes too many. I can only have so many anything. I love socks. You should see my drawer. Let me tell you what I do. When my daughters come here, I have a drawer of new socks. Because whenever they come here, because I'm the type of person, I was the type of mom that when I did laundry, every sock had to match. Unless you're deliberately trying to have a mismatched pair of socks. I cringe when I see people take off their shoes and there's like a white sock and a multicolored sock. It just drives me nuts. And to the point where I buy those, like, those laundry bags with a zipper, or I actually put the socks together before I wash them. So I fold the tops and put them in the machine, so I know when they come out, they should be coming out as a pair. Because I don't know if there's a monster in the machine that eats socks, but the amount of I used to have a bag full of one foot of a pair. So anyway, I have a drawer of brand new socks. There's I would say about 6 packs of socks. So when my girls come here and I see they have a sock that's not matched, unless they're telling me they deliberately did it, I let them go in the drawer and take out socks or whatever they want. Slowly making room the way you want it. Decluttering makes us feel lighter. Yes, it does. It does, Nikki. It really does. And it's not stopping. It's just getting faster. So I have a love of blankets, and I also have a love of plants. Now I have enough plants in here. I don't have to buy any more. So, but every time I go to the store and I see a plant that's kind of suffering, because I know I've done it so many times. I bring plants back to life. I'm always like, I should buy this plant. I should buy it, and I should revive it. I'm trying to think to myself, like, why do I always do that? Why am I always trying to fix things? Even like the men I meet, like the men in the past, the men I used to meet used to be like broken. They needed help in some kind of way. And it's like I'm trying to build a bear or build a man. Like, if I fix him, anyway, those days are over. So now the last bit of my healing is kind of like to pour into myself and to um, figure out why I keep stuff I don't need that are it's in good condition or brand new, but I don't need it. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out why I do that. And then once I figure out why I do it, then I can actually not do it anymore. And I think what I do find though right now is that when I do purge, it feels good. I enjoy how I feel, or I love how I feel when I get rid of stuff. And so like that's what I'm doing today since I'm in here, because I know at some point, it looks like soon, I'll have to go out there and shovel the snow. And the finger that got frostbite is actually it something did happen to it, but it's kind of looking kind of purplish a little bit. But at least the finger's still on there. It's not gone. So yeah, that's what I'm doing today. Purging and listen to my mother's husband down there singing. And I know he knows I'm on I know he knows I'm doing a lot because he goes to church, but he's into witchcraft. They all are. So yeah, that will stop him. I know that he is. And it's unfortunate because this is why the Lord had led me to come out of the churches, because the churches, as much as they are churches, they are full of demons and people who practice black magic. And so this is something I want to address too. Like I said something about that I'm divinely protected, and people thought it was funny. Yeah, I do want to keep for a rainy day, but you know what? What I'm finding, okay, so the comment is maybe you do it because subconsciously you want to keep it for a rainy day. But I don't have the space for that. And God has deliberately put me in this little space and has me in here like almost like I'm a cocoon. I don't, if I want to feel light the way I felt when I first came in here and the girls did this room over, I need to get rid of this stuff. Get your finger checked out. It's still that way by tomorrow. Okay. Yes, I will, Nikki. Thank you. I will get the finger checked tomorrow. But I know they're not gonna. I don't know what they're gonna really do. I find it's better than the first day. So what I've been doing is I've been massaging it to kind of get the blood flowing, and I'm thinking if it's anything like freezing meat, it will what's happened to here is it will never be the same. Like when you freeze meat and you defrost it, it's edible, but it's not the same as when you first get it fresh, right? So what I'm thinking is that probably it's just repairing itself. It feels it feels less numb and more just tender. And remember that this is my nail, so I just don't want the nail to, it just feels like the nail could come off. It's just so tender. I don't know if you've ever had a nail and you bang it on something and it doesn't come off, but it feels like it could have came off. That's what this feels like. And it's just the one finger. Like, I mean, how I had all fingers out. Why the wind chose to pick one? I don't know. Anyway, I wear gloves to run, but they don't have fingers. Oh, heated pad, yeah, that's a good idea. I do have a heated pad, and I have yeah. I just need to have gloves to run in that have fingertips. If I had that, then I would have been fine. But I gave those to my daughter, which I always do. I find things that are beautiful and could be useful, and I give them away. I've stopped doing that, but I have to figure like why that I always do that. Trying to fix people that don't even give a hoot about me. So I don't know. That's done. So anyway, I'm here, and I should tell you, yesterday when I was here, everyone just left me, abandoned me. I had to figure out how to go get the battery myself. So, and I didn't have to. I could have asked, but I was asking people that I know that are not for me and don't want anything good to happen for me. So I had to figure it out. Even though it wasn't my car, I still had to figure it out because I do drive it a lot. So anyway, there's a lady that I met who's Italian that lives up the way, and I met her when I was after a run. I went back and I walked to the mall, and she was outside, and I said, "You're Italian, aren't you?" And she found it funny that I had asked her that. And we end up talking. She showed me her garden and we became acquaintances. And so whenever I do see her outside, I say hello. So yesterday, in my, the way I was, I asked her, if I called her and I asked her, because we exchanged numbers, I asked her if she had a booster so I could boost, because yesterday wasn't that cold. I could have boosted the battery and got it to wherever I had to go to get the battery and change it there. But she said she didn't have that. She didn't have a portable charger. And she has made such, and then she said something about being blonde, and or she keeps on making these comments about being blonde and airhead. I said, why do you talk like that? I said, girl, you don't even know me. I said, I'm very smart, to be honest. I said, you say those things, and she goes, I hope you don't get offended. So I'm not offended, but words have power. And if people talk that way, if this is how they live their life and they speak those kind of ways, I don't even associate with them because, like I said, words have power. Now, this is the clincher with this. We were talking and talking about our experiences. We have very similar experiences. Like has a big heart, and she has had a lot of men in her life who have used her and taken advantage of her. Same with me. But I was saying, she goes that the last, um, I can't remember how she said they didn't stay together, but I said, she goes, that this is how I always talked. I always call people, I say, you're stupid, or that kind of thing. And I said, sweetheart, listen, let me tell you something. As much as you're joking, those words have power, and you're going to say something to someone in a joke, because the jokes are always based on some kind of truth, or they wouldn't be funny, right? So I said, if you say those things and you touch the nerve, you're going to end up messing up a relationship. And I didn't say those things. I shared some stories with her. I don't know if any of you guys know the couple Desmond and Christy. They're a YouTube couple who just recently announced they were getting a divorce. And I love that couple. I followed them since they were really, really young. And before, I think just when she just had her 2 kids, I followed them since then. Yes, I'm going to address these in a second. Let me finish the story. um, Desmond and Christy, I was shocked when I heard that they were getting a divorce because aesthetically, they are absolutely gorgeous together. Like looking at them, you're like, wow. You just assume based on how they're looking that they would be like always kissing each other all the time and blah blah blah. But what we do see when they are on, like when we see them on YouTube, is that they're very smart. Both of them are very intelligent because one, they've kept their children's faces private. Like we don't see their kids growing up. We know they're there, and they show their backs, but we don't see them, which I think is a very smart thing to do. Secondly, they had to find their thing. Everyone on YouTube has to find their thing that works for them. So for them, it's Chrissy. He's a chef. So initially, what it was is it was her. She was the quiet girl that he married, and he's a chef. So when he's cooking, I don't know if he's a real chef or if he learned to do chefery things, or culinary arts, but when he makes a meal, it looks like 5-star restaurant, top tier. And this is how she's living. Before they moved into this big house they moved into, he was cooking these meals, and these are in a modest house, and she's having these desserts. I mean, he makes desserts. It's amazing, just absolutely amazing. But he's more quiet, and she was quiet too until they started to do this channel. So her thing, over the course of some time, they discovered that what seems to be popular for them is that she buys heels because she's very pretty. She's beautiful. She buys heels and she tests them out. So she'll do cartwheels or backflips and stuff like that in the heels. She did other things before that. Like she'd get dressed up in a gorilla costume and lay in bed beside him, and he'd wake up and find her there, and he'd be like always like, oh, like, Chrissy, oh, Chrissy. And for us it's funny, but like we didn't know, as her viewers, we didn't know to the extent this was going. We didn't know how he may be, like how it might have been going on behind the scenes. Now this is what I perceived, and this is what's going to take me back to the lady I went out with yesterday. They're both very quiet. This is why he married her, I'm thinking. But the stuff that she was doing was low key kind of crazy. Like they were funny, but they were like, if you lived your whole life like that, that would be wow, like insane. So I'm assuming that maybe that he went and he cheated, and supposedly he cheated quite a few times. And I'm thinking that besides the craziness or the joking that went around in the relationship, that she ended up being swept away to like, fashion week and stuff like that. And I think he did go with her, but I think when you're in a marriage, in a relationship, it's important to, and I'm not saying this is not what she did or not did, and there's no excuse for cheating, to be honest. I don't think there is, unless it's an agreed cheating thing. Um, I think that men need to feel needed and women need to feel wanted. I think that there's something to be said about, and I'm not married, so I don't know, but all I know is as a woman, I want to be married. And if I'm going to be married, I would want to be able to pour into all the love I have into me, into my partner. So in relations to what's happening with Christy and Desmond, I think that something was lacking where he went out and he was able to invite women to the house, and somehow she had proof of this. And while we were watching them, she was, I guess, collecting evidence. This is what it sounds like, to go forward with this divorce. Anyway, now we're seeing her do videos by herself. He's not in the house. I don't know where. And he made some kind of statement about how they discussed being apart. And then she said that he was cheating, and she had known about it, and he'd been doing it several times, invited people to their home, which is absolutely crazy. Unless they, like I said, unless they both have come to an agreement to that, it's what it is. Anyways, so this lady, when she kept on saying stuff like, I hope you don't get offended that I'm calling you this. Now, when she's making those statements about dumb blonde, to me, one, there's a compliment there. That means that she thinks I'm attractive or something. And she did say I was pretty. That being said, she's going to assume or make a statement based on whatever, that because I am attractive, that I'm not sensible. And that's been the theme in my life, where people look at you and they seem a certain way, that you're a gold digger, that you're promiscuous, that you don't have any sense. And then when you find out that you're not that way, they get upset. I don't know. Anyway, so we had a talk yesterday, and I established with her that I said, I think words have power, and really, the way you're talking, like she's talking like this, and I'm like, she always says, "Are you stupid? Are you stupid?" Like, with an Italian, she's a little bit of an Italian accent, and I'm like, "Why do you talk like that?" Is that I would never, and even though it's joking, in the spiritual realm, spirits don't know jokes. There's no joking in the spiritual realm. If you speak over your child, you're so stupid, you're an idiot, you're never gonna amount to anything. You're speaking that stuff over your kid, it's gonna manifest itself in some kind of way eventually, right? Especially for a child who's not strong enough or wise enough to understand how to kind of like fight for themselves, spiritually speaking. It would take God to intercede to protect someone from all that damage. And our society is a product of this. There's so many people walking around here who are broken, who, like, men who have been told to suck it up, you don't have to feel anything, when they do feel like, when in life do you become unfeeling? Like two babies like several babies in a hospital, in the nursery, some are male, some are female, they all look the same except for the genitals. They don't have hair. Sometimes you can't even tell who's male, who's female, unless there's color on them. When do we decide in our ignorant wisdom that children as males can't have feeling, that shouldn't feel anything, are not allowed to feel anything? How does that make any sense? How are you able to parent a child or to love on your wife if you can't feel, you don't feel anything? That's absolutely insane. So anyway, I said to her, and I'm not going to talk about it much more, that her words have power, and I think that's partly why she didn't stay in relationships, because if that's how she talks, but also too, she and I both picked toxic people. I think that we were in the business of trying to fix people in our empathetic state, and believe me when I tell you, I'm not in a position to fix people anymore. As soon as I feel that I'm dealing with like broken, you're especially if you're a guy, go fix yourself. I I I care about what happens with you, but as a female, I don't think it's my job to fix you. I think the men should be trying to do something for the women and not vice versa. I shouldn't be trying to help a guy out or fix him up or whatever else. I'm not going to chase you. I don't need, I'm whole. I'm whole. If a man, I've had all the guys I've been with, all the guys I had children with, were all broken in some kind of way. And they may even still be that way. Anyway, let's address these comments. Okay, so the one about my finger is for your finger, let's see. For your finger, get some castor oil, cayenne pepper, and to help with the circulation, and 2 ounces of castor oil with a teaspoon of cayenne. Put in a bottle and place it in a pot. Ooh, I like that. Okay. Cayenne pepper and castor oil are good for other things too. That goes to show you that our bodies, castor oil and cayenne pepper are good for weight loss. They're good for circulation. They're good for inflammation. I just learned that. So thank you for that. And let's see. I tell my mother and husband that all the time. Words have power. Life and death. Yes, Nikki. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. I just think about all the things that my parents had said to me when I was growing up that hurt me to the core. Playing with herbs is my line of. Is it really? Do you have an active channel? You should share, because right now, when I used to when I first came into this understanding of what's true, the Lord led me to understand. He said He provides all our needs according to His riches and glory. And people were saying, well, they provide knowledge. No, 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 no. God didn't place us on this earth and say, figure out how we're going to heal ourselves. First of all, we fast, and fasting helps to repair the body, but also the herbs, like you say, the herbs on the earth. Like, I mean, the stuff that we just put in food all together. There's some cultures, like the Indian culture, a lot of the things that heal our bodies and help keep us healthy, they cook with this on a regular basis. I remember working when I was a young person, and when I was really young, I remember working in a factory, and this guy, he always smelled like garlic. And I'm like, how do you always smell like garlic? Probably what he was doing was probably therapeutic. It was probably because garlic's supposedly good for the body as well. Taken, I don't know how often you do it, because I found that when I took garlic, I was smelling like roast beef for 3 days. Garlic is very pungent. So I choose not the garlic way. I rather do garlic in my food. Like I do a lot of garlic if I'm cooking meat, or if I'm cooking like a like vegetable stir fry or whatever. Something Asian, I find that a lot of garlic helps to enhance the flavor. So if you have a channel, I would love to see what you're doing, because people are just coming to that awareness now, and now the medical field is trying to capitalize on this, and they're doing things with rosemary, mint, ginger, garlic for hair regrowth, for skin. And it's always been there. People do stuff on their own with ginger, garlic, homemade stuff, do it yourself stuff, and their hair grows. Like my hair, like if you can see, I used to have an issue with my hair. My hair's growing thick and healthy, and I'm like 56. This is what my hair. This is no, my hair's not colored. This is my natural color. This is, thank you Jesus. Like, I must say there's nothing wrong with being gray, but supposedly being gray has a lot to do with stress, but also our diet. And it can be reversed, supposedly. Teeth can be regenerated. What else did they say? Your eyes can be repaired, like your vision. And this is why I don't have glasses now. People would say you should go get glasses, girl. You need glasses. And I agree that my vision, to look at something like fine print, sometimes you'll see me squinting. But the Lord has led me to understand that, first of all, glasses don't repair vision, and you'll always have to upgrade the prescription, which means that the glasses are just, it makes it worse. Now, I've felt this way about my eyes for a while. There was one time my vision was so clear, and so, like, I could see, like, everything was so clear. And there was a witch in our program that I didn't know she was a witch at the time. And when I made this statement, all of a sudden, my eyes started to get blurry. From that day on, I had an issue with my vision. I don't know if it's called, when you can't see something like fine print. I can see a distance clearly, but to see fine print is, I have to squint. And then I'm thinking to myself, can anyone see this fine print? It's so it's so small. Like I could see. Let me see. This is a receipt. Yeah, I can see this. But there's some things I have, like bottles of stuff that I bought for my skin. And the fine print's so fine. I'm thinking there's no way anyone in the world can read this. And then I give it to my daughter and she's able to read it. So I don't know. I guess it's just me. Anyway, I'm ranting. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. I don't even have a real topic. I was going to talk about something else, a little bit more risque later on, because it is early, and I know every time I do a live and talk about something risque, some 12 or 11-year-old comes on here and says, I'm 12, I'm 11. It's probably some adult trying to like discourage me from talking about wanting to talk about. But if you're 11 and 12 and you are here listening to me, then your parents should be around and are aware what you're doing. That's all I say. Because, your parents should be aware what you're doing. One of the extra biblical, Noah went to God because demons were attacking his grandchildren, and God sent an angel to help him. An angel gave Noah a book with remedies. Oh, is that where it came from? Is that where it came from? What part of the book? I don't. Well, I'm having that now. So, okay, so I'm going to tell you what it's straight. Oh, this is what the Lord led me to understand. I'll tell you another quick story. I have these quick stories that don't seem to be so quick after all, because it's 30 minutes, I'm 35 minutes in. So this is what happened. When I was younger, when I was 8, I went to Jamaica with my dad. And when I went to Jamaica with my dad and I look a lot alike. And that means his side of the family, I look a lot alike like them. And when I met my grandparents, my dad's mother and father, my grandfather was so enamored with me, and I was so enamored with him. He's such a sweetheart. Like, he was just so sweet. And I felt like such a little princess with him. And this is in Jamaica. In Canada, you have this notion that your grandparents would be doting on you and they'd be spoiling you. And it does happen. But for me, it didn't happen here that way, because my grandparents were here, but my parents weren't very loving with me. I had that with my grandparents. In the short time I knew them, I was there for 10 days. And the short time I got to know them, my grandfather doted on me. He just sat back and watched me. And he talked about me having an accent. And I said, you have an accent. And he laughed, like everything we talked about, he laughed. And then he said, go get yourself something to eat, which meant go out and go pick something off the tree. And I was like to me, my house, I was restricted. I couldn't do anything else. I asked first. I wasn't free to kind of go into the fridge and get what I wanted, really. So to be able to go out there and get and then when I looked out there, there was like orange trees, grapefruit. It was just like all these green trees and all these orange spots and stuff. It was just like, wow, wow. Anyway, so I got to know my grandparents really well. My grandfather especially. My grandmother sat me down. This is the first time I ever had coffee. My grandmother sat me down with my cousins, and I had Blue Mountain coffee. Blue Mountain coffee is from Jamaica. It was the best tasting thing. That was the best way to introduce me to coffee ever. It was so good. And I had a big mug, about as big as my face, and we were allowed to sit down and have coffee. So anyway, I met my aunts, my uncles, and when I left there, I left crying because I knew I was gonna miss them. But I cried also too because I was torn, because I was missing my mom and my siblings. Anyway, fast forward. Oh, before I left, I met my aunt. There was an aunt I have that's out there. She's very fair compared to the rest of the siblings, and she didn't seem to really like me. I'm not saying she didn't like me, but she didn't really, how people kind of say, oh, hi, nice to meet you. She looked at me, but didn't really, dote on me, kind of thing. Considering I'm coming from another country all the way to visit there, I didn't get to know her very much, but I knew her name. So anyway, years gone by, I'm led to understand that something was left for me. And someone took it upon themselves to say I don't deserve it, or somehow I'm not supposed to have it. And I have a feeling that it's by my grandparents. I have a feeling. And the reason why I say this is because when this whole thing happened with me, when people were trying to deem me unfit or insane or whatever situation they wanted to put me in, trying to take my life or whatever else, they kept on putting me on the phone to speak to this aunt. I didn't have out of all the aunts I met down there, she was the least I would think to talk to me, because she didn't talk to me when I was down there. So I didn't understand why they kept putting me on the phone. But the Lord led me to understand that she's a witch, and that she doesn't think I deserve it. And somehow in their infinite wisdom on the side of the family, they believe that they can make decisions based on what they feel they want to do. And something very crooked has gone on. And I'm saying this openly because this is what the Lord led me to understand. So the Lord is protecting me. And the Lord is going to make sure that whatever I'm owed, I do get. And that explains why my mom had said some things about my grandmother siding with picking sides, like having a favorite, my dad being her favorite, and why she didn't know why, because something about what she said, she claimed my dad did. And I don't believe my mother anyway, so I don't, anything she says, I take with a grain of salt. But what the Lord fights for me. And people, you can laugh all you want, but I know the Lord is so real, and He's already done miracles for me. And whatever is owed to me will be mine. The word of the and the thing is, if I'm wrong, let's see. I'm saying this right now as a God give me a gift to be prophetic and to see things ahead of time. This is what the Lord showed me. And that aunt, like I said, would be the last person I should be on the phone talking to. She didn't talk to me out there. She didn't even seem to like me. She was a fair-skinned lady, and in Jamaica, fair-skinned, especially women, think that they're better than other women for whatever reason. House is quiet now. I wonder why. Anyway, I'm gonna come on again later on because the snow has stopped, and I'm gonna find out who. Well, no, it hasn't stopped. It's still going, but it's not as bad as it was. Um, I have a lot more to share. I'm gonna really share a lot of what the Lord has revealed to me as being true. I have a lot of greedy people in my family. You know, I was living a modest life. I was working for the school board. I had these kids out of wedlock, not because I was out there being promiscuous, because these guys saw me as an opportunity to get off or whatever else, and saw me that I'm not a bad person, and decided they wanted to, um, have their cake and eat it too. Have me as like this, no, this like this pretty girl who has, who she's attractive, but she's not out there flashing. Guys seem to like this flashy girls who are out there flashing. It's okay, whatever. Anyway, that was the situations I was in, and my kids are here. I can't change that. But I definitely, I'm speaking my truth. Whatever the Lord reveals to me, I'm going to share. I'm going to share. Because this my family, they're all professionals. No one's come after them and done anything to them. They're living their life. Why do they want something that doesn't belong to them? I don't understand that. And there's obviously people in positions of authority that are helping them do this, because documentation have been put in place in judicial systems that have have been like false statements made about me that were not true. Because I asked the hospital to give me why they got. I want to see the documentation, and all the things that they were saying made me want to cry. I'm like, the things that they were saying, like the things that they went to court and said were absolutely untrue and unjustifiable, absolutely insane. The things I've been able to endure and overcome are to me now that I know what they are amazing. It has to be God. That's why I say it out loud. I know it's God protecting me, because I could never do this on my own. Never. There's too many hateful people around me. So let's read this. Remind God of His words, as the Bible said, they have to return it to you sevenfold. Yes. And what I'm noticing right now is that it seems like that's what's happening, that they must have tried many ways to make sure. And it's just not just that. Something else happened. Something happened with the person I used to work with. He did something as well. Someone signed documentations in my name. There's someone out there who wants to be me for whatever reason. He wants to be a better me, what she feels is a better me. And supposedly some documentation in my name represented me in some kind of like bank or something. And there's some kind of like something going on where I am like worth a lot of money somehow, dead. So I'm gonna say about that, no filter here, because I have nothing to lose. Wrong one. Wrong one. Anyway, I do believe all those who the Lord has called at this time have going through similar things where they've been robbed in some kind of way, because when you're an empath, you draw people. I don't know what your situation is, but when you can try to get your own place, things are ridiculously expensive. So a small studio apartment is better than living in an uncomfortable setting. Yes, but you know what? Because of this is the thing. I hear what you're saying, and this is what I'd want to do, but the Lord has put me in a position where I have to wait on Him. Every, including YouTube. YouTube supposedly, either YouTube, the platform itself, or someone who kept on saying that what I was saying was harmful, kept on like putting strikes on my channel. You know, anyone could strike a channel, right? And they have to check and see what the issue is. But when they were striking my channel, they would tell me that I could click on a link and I would be able to see where the issue was. But every time I click on the link, it would be like blank. There would be nothing. I would never know what the issue was. So they're just striking the channel just to get the channels deemed unfit to have ads. So this channel doesn't have ads. The only way that I make money on this channel is through whatever people donate. When I am able to get ads on this channel is when I hit 10 million views on my shorts. What are the chances I'm going to get 10 million views on the shorts on this? This is what YouTube, so remember, YouTube is a business. It can be bought. Anyone can be bought. I'll screenshot it and I'll put it in on my post to show you. So like I said, the only way to do that, so this is why I say that the Lord has led me to do this, because every avenue in regards, like I went to school for what I did for a living. I was a counselor, worked with kids who were expelled and suspended. And I was very good at what I did, to the chagrin of the people I worked with. So every time I went to a situation, people did not like what I was doing. So I'm in a situation right now that God is using the situation to heal me, to protect me, to show me that he's protecting me, and to show others that he is real and that he's protecting me. Because like I said, my whole family practices witchcraft. And they must have done this to other people before. Jamaica is full of churches, but full of people who practice witchcraft. Like, these churches are not something you would want to. They practice. They say hallelujah, act all holy and holier than thou, but they're dark inside. A lot of these people, including the pastors, have no God in them. No God in them. And I believe, and I spoke about this before the hurricane hit Jamaica, that I said that God was going to deal with Jamaica, and he is. He is. So anyway, this is why you see me doing this. The Lord has led me to share my story. I think too, because he's given me the ability to be able to see things in advance. So when this all comes to fruition, then people will know that the Lord showed me this in advance, right? I guess. I'm assuming that's why God's led me to do this. I have no other choice but to be obedient to what God has called me to do. Plus, I'm a part of a collective of 144,000. So what I'm going to be doing in the future is going to be funded by the Lord. The Lord's going to make it happen. I'm telling you a lot. It sounds unbelievable, but that's what it is. So here I am. I'm supposed to be in a God-ordained partnership, but that also too is a process. And I have to trust the process. Okay, so do you mind if I'm going to read it? Okay, I understand we all have our ups and downs. I'm down financially right now because I'm trying to exit the rat race and work for myself. I believe better days are coming for you and for myself. I'm going to include you, my Nikki. I believe it too. I believe it too, sweetheart. And if you have, I don't know what you said, if you're doing, what you're doing is associated with herbal things, like you said that's your thing. Send me a message in Instagram or whatever. I'll definitely try and promote you, because I definitely believe in that. He kept on showing me how fenugreek and chia seeds and all this, like I have all that stuff here. Like I throw like flax seeds and chia seeds, and it's kept, look at my, this is God. This is God. Like this, there's no makeup here. Like it's all God, and anybody could do it. Anybody. It's just I eat what God leads me to eat. He told me to not eat processed stuff. And sometimes when I'm in a mood and I get in a certain kind of thinking, I get emotional. Sometimes I do kind of revert back to what I shouldn't be eating. Like I might have a little bit of cake or whatever, but then I regret it. My tummy rejects it. So he's definitely doing something in me and around me. So yes, Nikki, I believe it, and I'm gonna pray that comes to fruition. The words of the Lord not come back void, right? All right, guys, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna come on later, and I'm gonna see if I can tackle this room while I'm stranded in here. But just know I'm doing what the Lord. People are not going to always understand. I'm very hardworking. I'm very ambitious. But the Lord is doing something for a few of us that's unbelievable. Oh, I love it. I used to eat tapioca. I found it almost like tapioca. I love chia seeds. Love it, love it, love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Nikki. Bless you. Bless you all. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting the channel. You could like the video. I don't know. People like it later anyway. Like it on your way out or whatever. And I'll check in later. And I'll have another story to share. I have quite a few. Thank you, sweetheart. I'll talk to you later on today, and I'll let you know how I tackle this, how we all tackle the snow. Find out how everyone's doing. I'll let you know how my finger's doing. How the cayenne pepper and the hot water worked for it. All right, guys, love you. Remember, you are made marvelously. You are a special generation created for this time. You're not a mistake. All right, guys, talk to you later.